Right now, somewhere on Earth, someone is playing soccer. A child in Brazil, a teenager in Argentina, a group of friends in Spain, a schoolyard in Germany, a beach in Mexico, a parking lot in the United States, a neighborhood in Japan. The people change, the language changes, the surroundings change, but the ball stays the same. Almost all of them immediately know what to do: kick it, chase it, score a goal, and somehow, without anyone planning it, one game spread almost everywhere. Today, soccer is played in deserts, mountains, villages, megacities, beaches, schoolyards, empty parking lots, and stadiums holding more than 80,000 people. More than 5 billion people follow it. Entire countries stop during the World Cup. People cry. People celebrate. People paint their faces in colors that definitely won't photograph well the next morning. Some fans travel across the planet just to watch 90 minutes of people kicking a ball, and occasionally 0 goals, which raises a strange question. Why soccer? Why not baseball? Why not basketball? Why not rugby? Out of every game humans have ever invented, why did this one take over the planet? To answer that, we need to go back long before modern stadiums, television, and millionaire athletes who somehow still fall over like they've been attacked by invisible snipers. We need to go back to a time before soccer even existed, because humans have always loved playing games. Competition is probably older than civilization itself. Long before cities, kings, and written language, humans were already racing each other, wrestling, throwing rocks, testing strength, showing off. If you've ever seen two children argue about who can run faster, congratulations. You have witnessed one of humanity's oldest traditions and one of its loudest. People compete naturally, not because someone forces them to, because humans are status-seeking animals. We like being good at things. We like being recognized. We like winning. We like posting about winning. Some things never change. And thousands of years ago, these competitions were often genuinely useful. The best runner might catch more prey. The strongest hunter might provide more food. The person who could throw a spear farther might survive a dangerous encounter. What looks like a game today may once have been survival practice, which means your inability to sit still during a meeting might actually be ancient instinct. You're welcome. Over time, competitions became traditions, and traditions became sports. One of the earliest known ball games appeared in China over 2,000 years ago. It was called Cuju. Players kicked a leather ball through an opening, no hands allowed, which should sound strangely familiar. Ancient Greece had ball games. Ancient Rome had ball games. The Maya and Aztecs played ball games so important that some carried religious significance. Losing in certain versions carried even greater significance. Permanently. Human beings seem genuinely incapable of seeing a ball and leaving it alone. Give humans a ball. Wait 5 minutes. Someone will invent rules. Wait another 5 minutes. Someone will argue about those rules. Wait 10 minutes. Someone will start a tournament. Wait 15 minutes. Someone will complain the tournament is rigged. This appears to be universal. But none of these games were soccer. Not yet. Modern soccer's story begins in medieval Europe, and it was complete chaos. Imagine a match with hundreds of players. No referee, almost no rules, no proper field, no sidelines, no uniforms, no substitutions, no VAR, which, depending on who you ask, may actually sound like an improvement. In medieval England, entire villages competed against neighboring villages. The objective was simple: get the ball to a designated location. The problem was that the playing area could stretch for miles. Players ran through streets, across fields, through rivers, over fences, into anything unfortunate enough to be standing nearby. Windows broke. People got injured. Someone's prize pig was almost certainly involved at some point. Property owners were not thrilled. Several English kings actually tried banning football, not because it was unpopular, because it was too popular. People were spending more time playing football than practicing archery. Archery was considered useful for warfare. Football was considered useful mainly for breaking your neighbor's fence and your own ankle. Despite the bans, people kept playing, because people really, really liked football. Kings underestimated this repeatedly. Eventually, schools and universities started organizing the game, and that created a new problem. Everyone had different rules. Some schools allowed carrying the ball, others did not. If two schools played each other, they sometimes spent more time arguing about the rules than actually playing. So basically, nothing has changed. So in 1863, representatives met in London with one goal: create a single standard set of rules. The result was the Football Association. Modern soccer was born. Rugby split off in a different direction, taking the carrying rule with it, along with the neck injuries. Now something important happened. The timing was perfect. Britain was in the middle of the Industrial Revolution. Cities were growing, railways connected regions, and for the first time, large numbers of ordinary workers had organized leisure time. People wanted something to do on weekends. Soccer was perfect: simple rules, minimal equipment, enormous excitement. And crucially, it was not working in a factory. Clubs appeared everywhere. Then Britain began exporting more than goods. British sailors played soccer in foreign ports. Merchants introduced it abroad. Engineers brought it while building railways across continents. And here it gets complicated. Some countries embraced it freely and enthusiastically. Others encountered it under the shadow of British imperial power, where adoption and imposition weren't always easy to separate. But something remarkable happened regardless. The game didn't stay British. Argentina made it their own. Brazil transformed it into something almost unrecognizable: an art form with grass. Uruguay, Mexico, Germany, Italy, Spain. Each country absorbed soccer and gave it back to the world with their own identity stamped on it. It stopped being England's game. It became everyone's game. England, for their part, continued inventing the sport while occasionally struggling to win it, which is its own kind of tradition. But this still doesn't explain why soccer beat every other sport. After all, basketball spread internationally. Baseball did, rugby did, cricket did. So why did soccer win? The answer is surprisingly simple. Soccer is cheap. Basketball requires a hoop. Baseball requires a bat. Hockey requires ice. American football requires enough gear to outfit a small medieval army. And also a concussion protocol. Soccer requires one ball. That's basically it. No stadium required. No expensive equipment. No carefully maintained surface. Children have played soccer using bundled cloth, plastic bags, tape, old cans, anything remotely ball-shaped. If you can kick it, someone has probably used it. If you can't kick it, someone has still probably tried. No goals. Use shoes. Use rocks. Use backpacks. Use your little brother if he'll stand still long enough. This simplicity gave soccer a massive advantage over every competing sport. A child in rural Brazil could play. A child in a Japanese city could play. A child in a Mexican neighborhood could play. A child in Germany could play. No explanation required. Kick the ball. Protect your goal. Score in theirs. Even if you've never watched a match before, you understand the objective within seconds. There is one notable exception worth mentioning: the United States. Soccer arrived there too. Children play it in enormous numbers. But at the professional level, it historically struggled to compete with American football, baseball, and basketball, sports with deep cultural roots and billion-dollar infrastructures already in place. It's a reminder that simplicity opens the door. But culture decides whether to walk through it. The United States is slowly walking through it, very slowly, at its own pace, while checking if there are commercial breaks. And because scoring is difficult, every goal feels enormous. A basketball game might have over 100 points. A soccer game might have 2, or 1, or occasionally none, which can be emotionally devastating after 90 minutes and roughly 4 hours of pre-match analysis. But that rarity creates tension. Every chance matters. Every mistake matters. Every goal matters. Then came radio. Then television. Then the World Cup. And every 4 years, something strange happens. People who haven't watched a match in years suddenly become experts. Flags appear on cars, families gather around televisions, offices become quieter, entire countries begin collectively aging 90 minutes at a time. The first FIFA World Cup took place in 1930. Only 13 teams participated. Today, billions watch around the world. It has become one of the largest shared events on Earth. Entire cities transform. Families gather. Strangers become temporary best friends or temporary enemies, sometimes both in the same afternoon, usually after a penalty shootout. And what soccer creates is something humans rarely experience at scale: shared attention. For 90 minutes, millions of people are focused on the exact same thing. They celebrate together, suffer together, argue together, usually online, very loudly, with questionable spelling. Soccer gives people something tribes, kingdoms, and nations have always wanted: a shared identity, a reason to belong. That's why fans care so much. The game isn't just about the ball, it's about community, it's about stories, it's about hope. Every season begins with the possibility that this year might be different. And occasionally, it is. So why does every country play soccer? Because humans already loved games long before soccer existed. Because competition is deeply human. Because one ball and two makeshift goals is all you need. Because the game spread through trade, travel, migration, and empire. Welcomed by some, resisted by others, eventually claimed by almost everyone. And because once it took root, it gave people something powerful: a shared language without words. That's the real reason soccer conquered the world. Not because governments forced it, not because it was the most complicated game, not because it required the best athletes, but because before it became a business, before it became an industry, before it became a global obsession, it was just people finding something round and deciding to kick it. 5 billion people later, we're still doing exactly that: finding something round and kicking it.